been another long time, but I'm back for the next retired NASCAR driver's career video. This one is number 10 for Dale Earnhardt Jr., so we're into the top 10 for Junior. Another Hendrick year. It was a pretty solid year, which actually I put above 2002 was just a little bit better. Didn't get a win, but a little bit better, so here is number 10. On paper, you may not think of 2011 as a top 10 season for Junior. He only had 4 top 5s. He didn't have a win. He only got 12 top 10s. Only led 52 laps, the least amount of laps he's led in a full-time season. But he ranked 7th in points, which is why it was so good. 14.5 average finish. It kind of turned his Hendrick career around. Note in here that towards the top he was 4th, 3rd in points, but then once the summer months came, like Sonoma, Michigan, he dropped down to 10th in points at one point, but recovered to make the chase and actually ends up finishing 7th in points there at the end, lurking around mid-top 10 all throughout the chase. So he actually starts out the 2011 season pretty well. He goes to Daytona, and during his qualifying lap here, he goes racing to the start-finish line. His teammate Jeff Gordon is on the pole with Trevor Bayne in the 2nd position, and he completes lap 1, which is really just the get up to speed lap at this point in qualifying, and he's right on the money. He's 2nd right now, trying to just find a way to gain a little bit more speed on Gordon right there. Just about equal now as he comes down off 2 down the backstretch, and it moves into the 1st position. So down the backstretch, Junior is leading, but he has to fight a headwind. Can he stay on the pole and knock his teammate Gordon to the outside of the front row as they go into turn number 3, still ahead by about 0.03 of a second. So one small wind, one small mistake, if you're just a little bit off that yellow line, it could impact your whole pole lap. So as he comes off turn number 4, nice and smooth to the stripe, and he will get the 2011 Daytona 500 pole. And you know the fans react crazily to that.
Yes! First! 48.364. 22.1000.
Well, this clip hurts me. Later in practice, practicing for the 500, and that pole qualifying car is no more. It's done, demolished. He, with all the testing they have to do to see how this new tandem drafting works, he and Johnson were out there tandeming around with Truex and some others in front. They got slow. Drivers couldn't react in time. He got run over from behind, and his Daytona 500 pole qualify winner is all torn up, and it is no more. So you think, you know, starting out great with that pole, but now that car is not going to be able to race in the 500. And worse than that, he's got to start last in the duel, and then even if he finishes, say, first in the duel, he would still have to start last in the 500. So as you can see right here, they're coming up into a slower group. Johnson got sideways, Earnhardt reacted and checked up. Truex and Vickers had a huge run into the back of the 88, and Junior just knocks the inside wall down, the whole rear end's off, and that hurts his 500 pole car. But it doesn't matter, because with the tandem drafting, you have a shipmobile and still win. And right here, 80 laps into the race, Junior going to lead the 500 for the 2nd time. Missed the big one, and ends up with a push from Casey Kane. He's going to lead yet another lap in the 500. He kind of got out front of a few different times during the race. He was never really dominant, as I don't know if you could be dominant on these tandem style races. See right there, leads even more laps at Daytona. Fans reacting, going crazy as pulling away from McMurray and Montoya, but they're going to get the draft off of Kane here and get right up back to him and actually get in front of them, I believe. So see right there down the backstretch here, they come with a big head of steam. Kane pushing Junior, but right there, McMurray and Montoya jump up to the outside. So then on the green-white checker late in the race, Robbie Gordon gets sideways, saves the car, holds on to it, and then he decides to merge back up into the track as they're 3 wide up top. Newman and Truex make contact down. Junior trying to avoid it and ends up spinning the car around hard into the outside wall head-on, then hits it head-on once again. And another 88 car is torn up. So that was, what, I think the 3rd of the speed weeks. He wrecked in the clash, then wrecked his 500 pole car, and now here he is in the race on the green-white checker and wrecking. So you see on the restart, Stewart kind of got left out to dry by Kurt and Labonte. Then he kind of goes down line thinking, man, if I could get a draft here, but they're like 5 tandeming right there, and Robbie Gordon's in the middle of the sandwich, gets sideways. He saves the car. That was a great save by Robbie. Right here, they're already basically 4 wide without Robbie, and then he's trying to merge back up into that 4 wide and make it 5 wide, which that's not going to work. 4 wide rarely works. It's right there, 5 wide. Newman and Truex make contact up. Newman gets in the wall. Junior goes low, trying to avoid the 7 and the 39, and trying to correct it back, overcorrects it into the outside wall. He'll go. See Newman there spinning down towards the inside wall. See from the onboard Junior how crazy it wasn't from him. So you can see the 7 starts spinning, checks up thinking, okay, that's going to be a crash, but he ends up saving it. So then they start going again, and then here comes Newman and some others with the big heads team. Gordon merge up in the lane, they crash, they hit, and Junior trying to avoid it and ends up spinning it. And look at this hard hit into the outside wall right there, head on, and then once again another head on hit. As right here, another angle from the angle when it happened live right there. You can see the contact. Newman into the wall, comes down. Junior just trying to avoid, gets really sideways and spins it up in front of the field. And right here, 2 hard hits into the outside wall right there is the first one. And then the second one comes right here as he hits even more square head on. So then the second race of the season, Phoenix Junior's run pretty bad. 27th, as hard as he could go, but the big one happens from him. Junior piles into it, piles room and into the crash, and actually gets away with minimal nose damage, surprisingly. As you'll see from this replay, he actually nailed into the rear end. Luckily, it's not the Gen 6 nose, which just would crumple like paper. So you can see right here, the 88 come flying into it, and TJ did a great job guiding Junior through the wreck along with the good luck they had.
Checking up, come on, low, watch me, both sides, come on, go low, good job.
Wreck avoidance Dale. Then move on to Las Vegas. Here the starting lap. JJ Dale Jr. check it back. Yeah, that's normal. Dale Jr. What the heck is Junior starting 34th for? Well, it only takes him a few laps to actually get up into the top 20, and then 132 laps into the race, he ends up in the 7th position. So Junior with a fast car from the practice and qualifying. After that, of course, they made some heavy changes to the car, and actually works up into the top 10. They raced around top 5 for most of the second half of the race, but a little bit of a conservative pit strategy call relegates them to the back half of the top 10. Then we move on to Martinsville, and this is a race. I don't even want to watch this clip. It's a race I would love for Junior to have it back again and do it again, because I know he could have done a lot better than what he did. 21 laps to go, and he's on the rear tailgate, the 18th Kyle Busch. And he's dominating the corner really well. He gets a great run off the corner. He's just beside the 18th Kyle. And Kyle's not getting him the inside. Junior's not letting off. He's trying to win for the first time in 98 races. Sends Kyle up the track. And Junior gets to the race lead with now 20 laps to go. So the 88 is out front at Martinsville trying to win his first grandfather clock at a track he's been so good at over his career and still has not gotten to victory lane. So he comes off 2, and here comes Heartbreak. And he's going to be a common denominator through the season. Heartbreak grabs 3rd for Montoya, is trying to set his sights on the front 2, Kyle Busch and Dale Jr., but 20 laps to go and time's ticking. Literally, that clock is ticking down the time. 19 laps to go, and Junior's trying to scoot away from Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, trying to get to victory lane for the first time in 98 race. He actually pulls a gap there on Kyle a little bit, and then in turns 3 and 4, I think he gets a little loose right there, goes up the track, still keeps the race lead. We skip ahead now to later in the race. 6 laps to go. Junior and Harvick is now up to 2nd. Harvick's had one of the faster cars all day. He drives it hard to the corner, but Junior's kind of easy into the corner, but gets a great run off, and he actually pulls Harvick down the straightaways, but Harvick really gets him into the corner entries. This could be a really good finish. Is Harvick going to try and drive it into him if he can't get by Junior? Is he going to try and push him up the track? Is he just going to try and dive underneath him? Is he going to try and let Junior have a mistake? Well, it turns out with 5 to go, coming to 4 to go, Junior right there, loose in 3 and 4, goes up the track, and Harvick gets a great run to the inside of Junior, and that's the nail in the coffin. It's right there, side by side into 1 and 2. 4 laps to go. Junior trying to do the crossover right here as they come off turn number 2. Fighting back on the inside lane with a big run. He's back beside Harvick and into turn 3. Gives him a little bump up the track, but it wasn't enough to move him all the way up the track. And Harvick keeps the race lead and pulls away. In a post-race interview, Junior said he didn't want to be the bad guy and move 2 people out of the way for the race lead, which I think he should just moved Harvick. Really, Harvick's done it so many times, why shouldn't he have done it? So then final lap, Harvick's pulled away. Kyle Busch gets back to Junior, gives him a little bump right there, and Junior and Kyle drag race for a second. Big battle there, but Junior gets it. Talladega. This finish is famous for, you probably know already, but if you don't, I'll just save it for you. So they're coming to the white flag. Edwards, Biffle leading, but here comes Gordon and Mark Martin driving around the outside of Edwards, and they get to the race lead with now 1 lap to go. Clint Boyer and Kevin Harvick are there. They're the 3rd pair, and Junior and Johnson are on the inside lane. Junior is the one pushing Jimmy Johnson. So Boyer and Harvick make a move to the inside, Biffle and Edwards. It separates the 99 and the 16. Johnson and Junior go on by. So now Hendrick is 1, 2, 5, and 6. But here comes Boyer and Harvick. They're in the draft of the 5. They go to the outside lane. They're now side by side for the race lead. Johnson and Junior, they're going to have a huge run during turn 3 because of the wall of air they're about to hit right here. But where do they go? Johnson tries the inside. Their teammates block it off. Now they go to the high side, trying to get a run up to see where they can go. And maybe I'll just let the professionals take it from here. Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, and Larry McReynolds for this amazing finish at Talladega.
Watch out, down low.
Way down comes Johnson.
Good run.
He's got room. They're 3 wide. 3 by 3 to the line.
Johnson.
Maybe Jimmy Johnson.
I believe he got him by an inch.
2/1000ths of a second he beat Boyer.
Okay, a 16th of an inch.
So then Richmond comes along. Nothing really race-wise, but Jeff Gluck posted an article that basically said that even in the bad days of 2009, Junior still talked almost after every race. But in 2011, after this Richmond race, he did not talk. Gluck saying that maybe this is the deep hole of his slump. But Junior denies that.
Oh man, it's getting exciting right here in the front stretch. Get your camera out. Get your phone out. Whoever gets out of the car first is going to win this one. Get your phone out.
So Junior actually denied it, saying that he had been told that there were no reporters outside, and he actually left the track and actually messaged Gluck later in the week telling him that it was an honest mistake. So we move on to Charlotte, and this is another heartbreaker in 2011. 2011, the season of heartbreak for 88 fans and 88 team. Coca-Cola 600 fuel mileage race overtime. Burton spins around after Kane runs out of fuel. They're still green flag racing, and who's out front but the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Denny Hamlin, and Kevin Harvick. Harvick's pretty good on fuel. Hamlin and Jr. are questionable on if they can make it. So as they come off of 4, the white flag is being displayed. Jr. trying to win the Coca-Cola 600. His home track curse. Is it finally over? Last lap in the 600, and Dale Jr. is leading the National Guard car, leading on Memorial Day weekend. How sweet would it be for that if that could happen? Down the backstretch, fans jumping all around, getting crazy. Junior still pulling on Hamlin. And into turn 3, well, let's let the professionals take it again. I don't want to watch this.
150,000 people on their feet.
Junior is slowing. He's out of fuel. He's out of gas.
And as at Indy, the leader at turn 4 does not get to the flag. Harvick, the closer, wins it.
Once again, where did he come from?
Golly gee. Have you ever?
No, I am. Once again, never. Are you kidding me?
And finally takes the
500 more
chapter.
feet. We needed 500 more feet. Everybody did a great job.
See Steve Letart's reaction, heartbroken. They were 500 feet from winning the race. He just wants to throw his headphones down, agony. And even Junior pushing the car back, he's not happy at all. You can see on his face the expression there. You want to hear some of the chatter between crew chief, spotter, and driver? Well, here it is. Junior had a hot pass for the 600. Check this out.
17 pitted. If you can't catch those two, start lifting early. Back it up. Back it all the way up to the 6. He's at the start finish. Now, if those two run out racing each other, you'll win it, man. If you don't think you can pass them, listen early here. Make sure we can make it. Six is not even off the corner. He's off the corner now. Full straight away back, bud. 5 to go. Slow down more. Slow down more. Slow down more. You got to hold straight away to 17 into the car. Lift early.
Laps to go.
For that 6 is at the line now.
But on the,
Yeah, the 6 is running 8. Gas.
and he comes down.
So the next race at Kansas, and Junior running up high and loops the car around, but does a great job saving the car. Gets sideways, the apron helps him there, and ends up saving the car. So after this Coca-Cola 600 heartbreak, he spins right here, loses some positions. He had actually worked his way up inside the top 10 at the time of the spin with a pretty decent race car. Definitely wasn't a winning race car, but probably a top 10 race car. So right there, getting loose and almost spinning, but does a great job of saving the car and keeps it on the racetrack. Caution comes out, and this actually sets him up later in the race to pit for fuel, so he has enough fuel to make it to the end. Keselowski is questionable at the race lead, so Junior is second, but about 3 seconds back at Keselowski. Keselowski trying to save fuel enough to get to the finish line. So 1 lap to go at Kansas, and Keselowski, the master of saving fuel that he is, and he ends up saving enough. So you think this is the week after the 600 happened. If you're a Junior fan, you're hoping everyone runs out of gas now, not like last week. Like, what the heck? You're hoping it's happening 2 weeks in a row to the race leader, but it doesn't happen. Keselowski, the gap is closing in because Junior's pushing hard, trying to hope that Keselowski maybe runs out right here. It doesn't happen. Keselowski can coast from here, ends up winning at Kansas, and Junior ends up second. So once again, close heartbreak, but just cannot pull through to break his winless streak. So at Michigan, he had a pretty good car, top 10 car. It fell away at the middle of the race. And later in the race, Martin, his teammate, puts Dale Jr. in the wall. And that results in a flat tire as they go down. He was kind of fading after that and flat tire and into the wall he goes. So Dale Jr.'s bad luck continues. It was like the 3rd anniversary of his last win, 3rd or 4th anniversary of his last win, and up against the wall now. Everyone thought that this could have been the chance where he got to victory lane. The car's pretty good all weekend, top 5, top 10 car, and faded towards the middle of the race, could never recover, running just outside the top 10 and into the wall right here with the blown tire after contact with teammate Mark Martin just a few laps before, where Martin had damage to the right side of that car, but he actually ends up finishing around 21st, 22nd. He was not happy with how Mark raced him out on the racetrack.
I got on the outside of Mark, and he just come on up and drove us in the fence off the corner. I don't know if his spotter wasn't spotting good or whether he just couldn't see good or what, but just ran and slapped in the wall. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. I try really hard to take care of people, try not to be careless, and I don't like putting up with carelessness, and that just really pissed me off what happened out there. So,
thanks, Junior.
Well, at Sonoma, Stewart and Vickers tangle, and Junior gets some nose damage after hitting Vickers, and some other see right here from the replay. Junior's right there, gets into Stewart, gets into Vickers, and that nose damage results in this.
Had a big old mess getting into 11, and we jumped in there and got part of it and banged up the nose a little bit, and I think we knocked a hole in the radiator and ended up hurting the engine a little bit. So I think the engine's done, so it's got a hole in the side of it anyways. Normally never good.
Then we move on to Daytona, and Recavoint's Dale at it again. The big one happens from him. He jumps down to the apron. The banking is able to miss another one at Daytona. So 2nd season in a row he's missed the big one in the Coke 0400. You can see right here, Martin and Logano get together, and it just causes a big crash. And Junior escapes down the inside. Luckily there, as the cars behind him piled in and whatnot. From his onboard, you can see how close it really was as the car in front of him gets taken out. The car behind him gets taken out. It's just craziness. He goes low and he's able to miss it. And this sets him up perfectly for the final restart with another green-white checker. And right here, he's up to 3rd in the inside lane with a big push from Jeff Burton to the back of the Roush Fenway drivers. And he is in contention to win at Daytona. Can he get back to victory lane at Daytona to try and break his long win streak? It would be very, very poetic if that were to happen. But he loses touch with Burton as he's on the back of the Roush Fenway guys. Burton falling back. Junior now is going to be detached from those guys. He's going to start falling back. He's going to fall behind Logano and Kane. Harvick, and is that Menard on the outside lane, and now Burton gets right back with Junior, so you think, man, maybe they still do have a shot if some drivers get side by side. Once again, Burton just cannot get up to Junior for some reason. I don't know if that's on purpose, which I'm guessing it's not, because you have to push someone to even have a shot, but maybe the 88 was just not a good car to push. Maybe Junior is a better pusher than a better person to be pushed. So as they're racing through 3 and 4, the front 2 groups basically have this set down. They wreck in the back. Caution is not out. They're still racing back. McMurray and Junior make some contact, and it evolves into a crash with most of the top 10 wrecking off turn number 4 to the finish line. You'll see from this replay that it was actually McMurray's fault. Mr. Let's go bang up a few speedway cars and cause a million wrecks. McMurray, he drives down to the middle of the lane and just doesn't realize the 88's down there apparently, and squeezes the 88 of Junior down onto the apron. Junior comes back up trying to control the car, spins the one and himself around, and then Junior does a great job keeping it out of the wall, hit the reverse to keep that speedway car out of the wall, and he did just that. Great job there. At Kentucky, Steve Letarte on a strategy trying to gain positions, and it ends up blowing a left front tire after a no tire pit stop, got out of the pits, and the debris picked up from the apron most likely ends up blowing the tire. So here, coming off the pit road onto the racetrack, and the tire will go right here. So more bad luck there, and he drops even lower in points. So then, after a few more bad races, relegated down to about 8th, 9th in points. Richmond is craziness, as it was one of the craziest Richmond races I've seen. The big one happens, and Junior hadn't missed practically, and then Boyer pulls down in front of him and causes the 88's nose to get all beat up. So you're thinking, is he going to miss the chase now? He had to finish 20th or better, and that damage looks pretty severe to the nose. Is he done? Are his chase chances over? Can Junior rebound from this and try and make the chase for 2011 for the first time since 2008? You'll see from his onboard right here, as Boyer spun in front, he had checked up a few others behind, did not. He slams into the 11, then Boyer starts rolling down the track in front of Junior. I don't know why Boyer wouldn't have just kept it up against the wall, considering cars are coming underneath. You see right here, Boyer actually spins around. He's up against the wall for a good bit before Junior actually comes into it, where he's up against the wall, and then he just starts rolling down the track, and Junior nowhere to go into him. So then a little bit later in the race, Quapple gives Junior a bump down the front stretch for whatever reason. I still don't know. And Junior needing a caution. He's about to go 2 laps down. He needs a caution. Harvick's just a few cars behind him, and I guess he thinks he'll get that caution by getting some payback on Travis Quapple and spinning that 38 ranks right there. There's Harvick going by your race there, so Junior, that would put Junior 2 laps down. You see from another angle, he just gets into the back of Quapple here. Mission complete. Junior angry at Quapple and shows over the radio communications.
That fucker.
He just down 3. I knew he would.
That fucking prick.
Fucker got what he deserves. He knows it.
I don't know if we have enough time to describe everything that Dale Earnhardt Jr. had to overcome tonight. Junior, lap 8, about a 15-car pileup in turn 4. You got all been up there. You have to go back to 29th. You get the free pass 3 times because the car's all over the racetrack. How would you describe your night?
Well, we just kept working and trying to fix the car. It was tore up pretty bad in the front end. Had a lot of camber and just was really loose in and wouldn't turn in the middle. But we worked on it, trying to hit on something that would be kind of competitive, and we were real good. We could race the leaders on 10-lap tires, but after that, we just go backwards and just try to fight for everything we could, every little bit of track position we could. But I thought we was gonna have a pretty good car tonight. They had the 33 spun out over there, and everybody kind of knew about it except for 1 or 2 guys, and drove a few of us into the wreck, and I locked the brakes up when that 13 sent me in the wreck. I locked the brakes up, and I'm in the door of this 11 car here, and I saw the 33 sitting up there, and I thought, well, I'll get off the brakes, let the front tires roll, turn down the bottom, go around him. He was way up the track. Well, he gets off the brakes and rolls down the track in front of us. So I was, all right, I'm gonna hit him. So we hit him, and that was it. But we just worked hard the rest of the night.
And here's the best part with that wink. He is in the chase, folks. Dale Earnhardt Jr. held his breath and kept a great attitude, but he is now in the chase here in 2011.
So then we move on to Chicago, the first race of the chase. Junior, from the 19th starting position, he worked way up to 6th on the final lap, and that's important. He's 6th at the white flag lap, as it's a fuel mileage race, and Kyle Busch, the first car to run out of fuel of the front 10. Busch has to come down pit road first on fuel. Key word for racers, as I kind of want to get back to that interview they had at Richmond. Key word for racers is the fire. Every racer has a fire underneath them to win and to try and perform at their best and win every race. Well, it seemed like for a few years there, Junior did not have that fire. From what seemed 2007, 2008 to about 2010, he didn't have that fire. And I think around Richmond was the time he got that fire back. And right here in the field match, he gets 3rd. He grabs 3rd.
Now, the whole finishing order kind of turned inside out on the last lap. Jamie, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to get 3rd.
Yes, he starts off 19th today, and they just made the right adjustments. Those fundamental changes seem to really help today. You guys made the right call. How happy are you with the 3rd place finish today, Junior?
I got to thank the team. First off, we had really, really good pit stops all day long. Those guys have worked hard to try to improve, and they really did today. And the car was a bit of a struggle in some parts of the race, but we made some changes at the end. The car was really, I think, one of the fastest cars on the track, and we drove up in the top 10 there. We started trying to save a little gas, and we made it further than most. So I'm pleased with the engine, the guys at the engine shop, the guys that put the car together in the fab shop, all the guys in the 88, 48 shop, this whole team. We worked hard all weekend trying to just be smart, and it was a good weekend for us.
And you gained 6 positions in the points. He's 6th now.
So we move on to New Hampshire, the second race of the chase, and Junior, as pit stops are starting to cycle in, has a flat right front tire. So he saves the car going up the track. Nice job there, keeping out of the wall. Down the backstretch, he knows the tire's flat. He's trying to slow it down for the corner, but when that tire goes flat, there's not much you can do to turn the car going that fast. Right here, goes across the track, straight up towards the wall. His teammate avoids them. Cars are trying to get down low and out. Junior's trying to get to the pits. Right here, he has to slow down and he luckily gets in, but that sets him back as a top 10 car kind of gets set back. And then at the end, running towards the top 10, and another right front tire flat, and puts him back to 17th in this interview.
Well, we want to run like that. We had a great car. We worked really smart all weekend. Second weekend in a row, we really had a good one, and should have finished in the top 10 pretty easily. We had a flat tire, and then we had about 100 laps to go, and then we had another flat tire right there at the end. Just too much camber. We really didn't hit anybody or bang on the wall or anything. Just you know, having a little too much camber gain, getting a little too much travel, and the track did tighten up there at the end to really increase wear on the right front. So it's a shame, but and I'm frustrated. You know, I want to win a race. You know, I would like to win a chase, but I'd like to win a race too. We had a good enough car to do it today, I thought.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Thanks, Dale.
But when it starts raining, it's raining, guys. Fucking throw the yellow. What's the fucking hold up? It's so early in the fucking race. No point in fucking making us race through the rain, hoping it'll go away. So stupid.
Caleb, you have to stay back. Rear tire carrier, stay back.
I'm coming now. Not open yet. Will it fucking matter? I mean, Jesus, we're going to be at the end fixing this thing.
No, it doesn't matter, but we need to just get caught up to the pace car because he's all the way down to 1 and 2.
Yeah, but you could just look, know what you're trying to fix, get your shit together. 10-4, man. We'll come next time. Pretty sure it's Swaybar arm there. The 39 said he might run over it. Yeah, I don't know.
Our next race to go to is Martinsville, lap 8, trying to get around Kurt Busch, and he clips the curbing and sends he and Busch up in front of the pack, and the big one ensues at Martinsville after the track's blocked. Cars going by on the inside, cars stopped up top. See right there, Junior, one of them, Hamlin, Jeff Burton, Kurt Busch was one of them, spun around Jeff Gordon, got some damage from it, so Junior causes the big one on lap 8, trying to get by Kurt Busch and just clips the curbing. As he tried to get by, you'll see from a few different angles right here, he tried to get by and just clips the curbing. Kurt didn't give him too much room. Junior maybe just drove in a little too hard. Gets to that curbing, spins around. See from this angle, as he was beside Kurt definitely, and Kurt just kind of crowded him down there, hoping that Junior would lift, and Junior did not, and sends everyone up in front of the pack. And then from this onboard, you can see trying to get down low onto the curb, and around goes Kurt. And sets the 88 team back early in this Martinsville race. They have to recover. Now they're going to be back in the 30s, and they have to try and recover. See from the helicopter camera now, Junior is beside Kurt, about halfway beside him, and clips the curb, and up and around they go, and it's just a chain reaction crash from that. So we talked about how he recovered from that, from this wreck. Later in the race, he's running 7th on a restart. Hamlin trying to fill the hole down low. Junior gets a bump from behind up into Hamlin. This time he saves after hitting the curb, but Keselowski is the unfortunate one that goes around. We move on to Texas, where he gets 7th. The backstory to that is amazing. You'll just have to watch the race if you want to see why that's important. So then Homestead. Junior loves this track, trying to get his first top 10 at Homestead in his career. He's going to move around Matt Kenseth in the 17 to get into the top 5 5th on lap number 10. So early on, the 88 shown that he has a strong car. He actually ultimately ends up falling and finishing 11th, as the handling of the car might have went away, but was a top 10 car.
And when that high lane's working at a racetrack, nobody runs it better than Dale Earnhardt Jr. We've seen him utilize that as well as anyone.
Highline Dale. Loves to run his eye line, and he does it perfectly at Homestead, it seems. So what we learned from this 2011 season, the fire is starting to reignite underneath Dale Jr. It takes a few more years for it to fully reignite, but it is slowly trickling up every season. Every race, it looked like it got just a little bit bigger. See right here, he actually ends up 7th in the points, which was, at that point, was the highest position he had in points. So let's see for 9.